Hi there. We are on day 44 of our Through the New Testament in 1 year. And we're finishing up Matthew 26. Remember, yesterday, Jesus had just been arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane, thanks to Judas Iscariot. And we're right in the middle of that, so let's continue. Remember, they had just arrested Jesus, and behold, one of those who were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. Then Jesus said, "Then put your sword back into its place, or all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will not at once send more than 12 legions of angels? But how then should the scriptures be fulfilled, that it must be so?" And at that hour Jesus said to the crowds, "Have you come out against a robber with swords and clubs to capture me? Day after day I sat in the temple teaching, you did not seize me. But all this has taken place that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled." Then all the disciples left him and fled, just like he said they would, right? Now, in other Gospels, it says Jesus healed the man's ear, right? And he did that for a reason, and it doesn't mention it here, but striking one of the servants of the high priest was punishable by death, okay? By Jesus healing his ear, there was no evidence. You can't charge somebody without evidence. Of course, they charged Jesus without evidence, but normally you couldn't. So it's a little side note there. Okay. Jesus before the Caiaphas and the council. Then this would see Jesus led him to Caiaphas the high priest, who, where the scribes and the elders had gathered. And Peter was following him at a distance, as far as the courtyard of the high priest, and going inside, he sat with the guards to see the end. Now the chief priests and the whole council were seeking false testimony against Jesus, that they might put him to death. But they found none, though many false witnesses came forward. At last 2 came forward and said, "This man said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days." And the high priest stood up and said, "Have you no answer to make? What is it that these men testify against you?" But Jesus remained silent. And the high priest said to him, "I adjure you by the living God to tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God." Jesus said to him, "You have said so. But I tell you, from now on, you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power, coming on the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore his robes and said, He has uttered blasphemy. What further witnesses do we need? You have now heard his blasphemy. What is your judgment?" They answered, "He deserves death." Then they spit in his face and struck him and slapped him, some saying, "Prophesy to us, Christ. Who is it that struck you?" Remember, he was blindfolded here. It didn't say that, but he was blindfolded. Okay, Peter denies Jesus. Now Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard, and a servant girl came up to him and said, "You are also with Jesus, the Galilean." But he denied it before them all, saying, "I do not know what you mean." Then he went out to the entrance. Another servant girl saw him, and she said to the bystanders, "This man was with Jesus of Nazareth." Again, he denied it with an oath, "I do not know what you mean." I swear, right? After a little while, the bystanders came up and said to Peter, "Certainly you too are one of them, for your accent betrays you." Then he began to invoke a curse on himself and to swear, "I do not know the man." And immediately a rooster crowed. And Peter remembered the sayings of Jesus, "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. And he went out and wept bitterly. So there you go. We're right in the middle of it now, aren't we? And like I say, these are very short studies. Since we're doing the New Testament in an entire year, it's very short. But tomorrow we'll do Matthew 27, where he's delivered to Pilate. Judas hangs himself. Jesus before Pilate, the crowd chooses Barabbas, right? So tomorrow we're getting into the beginning of the crucifixion. So hard stuff. If you're a true Christian and love Jesus, it's never easy to read. I mean, you could be thankful. And that's all you can be, is thankful, right? That somebody would do that for you. So there you go. That's today. Like I said, these short studies, 5-10 minutes. So stay tuned tomorrow. We'll keep going. We're getting to the good part of the story, and then we'll start over again in Mark. So next week sometime. So there you have it. That's day 44. So give us a like if you think about it. Catch up on any of my missed, or just read Matthew and join us when you can. But till tomorrow, we'll do it again. See ya.